What's going on with YouTube guitar players? I've been toying with this video idea for quite some time, and today's the day where I'm going to finally make a video talking about this topic in the guitar community. I've noticed a trend with a lot of my peers, people I look up to, and just people that I just watch all their content regularly here in this guitar community, and I've noticed that a lot of content creators are kind of more or less making the same video or something very, very similar. And it seems as though a lot of guitar players are going through a lot of personal stuff, a lot of life stuff, and are choosing to either just make videos about it, talking about it, what they're going through, or going as far as to retire from making guitar YouTube content. And the general consensus with this topic of what's going on with YouTube guitar players is life's just kind of happening, and life's kind of hard sometimes. And a lot of these content creators making these videos, I look up to all of them, whether they're have 1 million subscribers or 5,000 subscribers, it's irrelevant. I can be inspired by every single content creator in some form or fashion and learn something from everybody. So, to see my peers just kind of going through this stuff and all kind of making the same type of video, I do find it rather interesting, and I'm sensing a pattern here. And now, before I say another word in this video is not drama. This video is not to spread negativity. This video is to not put anybody down or anything remotely close to that. This video is to shed some light on what's going on, talk about it, give my own personal experience, as well as bring some positivity out into the universe here on June 1st, 2025, okay? So yeah, I've noticed this, a lot of people just saying how either they're burnt out or life's throwing them a curveball, or they need to step away from the channel, or they're not exactly sure what's going on with their life and they need to figure out their own lives, and that could affect their YouTube content, etc. Basically, it just seems like everybody's kind of going through the same thing anymore. And it's hard sometimes to grow up on the internet, which is more or less what's happened to all of my peers, myself included, where, you're seen publicly more or less every single day, and over time that can wane on just your perception of reality, your emotions. It can wane on your personal life, your professional life. It can really eat at you over time. So let's just start with the obvious here. Being on the internet for an extended period of time, you're just susceptible to copious amounts of people seeing you and reacting to you. There's studies out there where the human brain isn't conditioned to be just completely bombarded with human interaction. And the internet and social media is still such a new phenomenon that humans don't really know how to process it that much. And as always with putting yourself out there on the internet, there's just copious amounts of negativity thrown your way. You get a ton of positivity and a ton of negativity, and it can really just potentially warp your perception of your own reality. And that in turn, I think, really starts the process of being burnt out and kind of losing your inspiration with creating content. I mean, creating content is amazing. I personally love it so much. It's my favorite thing I've ever done with my life, but it can be exhausting. I've been doing YouTube personally for 8 years, and I love all of my videos, but there are times where it's okay, I have to make a video. I have to create something out of nothing. I have to make it really clickable, watchable, and engaging, and I have to make it really, really good right now. Go. To do that every single day, more or less, for 8+ years can be exhausting, which is probably what's happening to a lot of my peers. And not only my peers, but just content creators in general. And speaking on making something viral and making something really, really, really good right now, how do you want to blow up on the internet? What could you do if you want to blow up on the internet? You could either use sex, or you can be negative and start trashing people. That's just, unfortunately, a matter of fact. Sex sells and negativity sells. It's interesting how if you want to stay true to yourself and you want to just make positive content or just content that you enjoy that isn't the low-hanging fruit, while at the same time seeing other people on the internet crush it from just hating on other people more successful than them, call it how it is. It's kind of hard to see that sometimes when you're just sticking to yourself and staying in your own lane and not being tempted by making content that will inevitably get you more popular and make you more money at the expense of your character being tarnished. To me, it's the equivalent of taking steroids in baseball in the late 80s. You can stay natural and hit 275, or you can take steroids and hit 73 home runs and bat 380, and be a Hall of Famer if you don't get caught. Stuff like that. We all know what's clickable and what's easily engageable. What's most engaging, and that's just being negative on the internet. So that's kind of hard to see, and I can totally understand why people would potentially feel some type of way about that stuff. And not to mention, we're also seeing a lot of people just being on the internet for a while to where now YouTube and social media has become their full-time job. Well, full-time jobs are stressful no matter what you're doing on the planet, right? So taking your hobby, your passion, guitar, and then ultimately making a career out of it, that's amazing. But the flip side of that coin is there's a lot of stress and a lot of people depending and relying on your content. If you have a family, if you have a spouse, if you have a partner, if you have a dog, like, people are relying on your content. Again, more fueling the burnout and the inevitable like lack of passion and stress that can come from doing this as a full-time job. I've been there myself about 2022, 2023, when YouTube was my full-time job for about 2 years. I was starting to get that feeling, and I never really lost motivation to make videos and stuff like that, but I did feel that burnout feeling. And I'm very fortunate enough now where I'm at a position where YouTube has become my hobby again, my passion again, and it is not really necessarily my main source of income. It is a main source of income, but I don't think it is my main one. I think being a touring musician has now leapfrogged YouTube as my full-time job, as my main source of income. Another reason why I think this all could be happening too is the internet's very saturated. I mean, when I first started 8 years ago, I thought it was saturated then. And I'm very thankful to be like one of the guys in this community, like helping it grow and, you know, just doing my part, I guess we'll say, to like share my passion. But like, I felt like it was an impossible feat to break through in 2017 when I started. Now here in 2025, it's probably even more competitive to find your audience and to keep your audience when there's just so much other content going on. You know, I really feel as though there might be some feelings of like, what can I offer to the community? It's already so saturated, like what's the point? I've personally never felt like that, but I can really get that sense whenever I'm teaching people privately and they're asking like how to break through. I've heard a lot of people expressing those sentiments of like, it's already so saturated. What can I do to break through? How's that even possible? So a saturated market, mix that with burnout and mix that with like life stressors, it can really make people not necessarily want to do YouTube anymore. So how can we take this video, these concepts, this idea, and put a positive spin on it? Well, in my opinion, as the audience, myself included, I am a part of the audience here, we can really do our part to let our favorite content creators, our favorite guitar players know that, hey, we support them, we're interested in what they do, we love what they do, etc. Speaking from my own experience, I think sometimes I personally forget the magnitude one could have on their audience, meaning like, for example, if I'm playing a show, like if I'm playing with Elijah or something, every single night there's somebody that comes to the merch table and tells me how much they love my channel. And I'm super, super honored at that experience every single time. I wish I could meet everybody. There's times where like I miss people and they'll DM me, say, hey dude, miss you at the show, but just want to let you know that like your channel has, you know, helped me and really has inspired me, etc. And I personally can't really see that and feel that magnitude until I'm in person and see somebody face to face. So what I'm trying to say here is like we as content creators can really lose sight of like how impactful that relationship is between content creator and an audience member. As an audience member, we can reach out to our favorite content creators and just like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, just leave a comment, say, hey dude, love your stuff. This is cool, man. Thank you so much. Stuff like that really does mean a lot, and it does go a long way. And I've said it a couple minutes ago, but I love this community. And, you know, I'd like to think I've done a little bit to help this community grow in some fashion. And I'm really, really proud of the guitar community, the internet guitar community. It's like where I found my place growing up in my early 20s. You know what I mean? Like I was fresh out of the military more or less, and like I was trying to figure out what I was going to do in life, and this community, this industry, you know, was my calling more or less. So I'm really, really passionate about this, and I want everybody to succeed. I want everybody to be happy, and I want it to be a fun, cool spot, because this didn't really exist. At least it didn't exist at the magnitude that it does now when I first started. So I think more or less that's what's really going on, everybody. I just feel like, you know, time on the internet is like taxing, you know, personally, professionally, mentally, completely, as well as just like a saturated market and just, you know, trying to make something out of nothing with your brain, make a video, make it really engaging every single day. It can really be quite exhausting, I'd say. So I love all of my peers and I love all of my audience members. Like I said, this video is nothing but shedding some light on what's going on and then trying to take this concept and then make something positive out of it, okay? So everybody, I love you guys so much. Thank you for always just tuning in. Y'all mean a lot to me, and you guys mean the most to me, actually. And yeah, dude, just want to kind of make a video about this, talk about it, shed some light on it, and then let's just keep moving forward, okay? All right, everybody, I love you guys so much. See you guys in a video very, very soon. Later.